Hundreds of brands in 2025 are scaling to seven figures, creating household names for themselves, landing insane collaborations, prioritizing community over mega corporations, all while spending $0 on ads. That could be you, and today I'm here to teach you how. Hello all, and welcome to Confessions of a Female Founder, a tell-all series where I share my experiences and advice as a now 25-year-old entrepreneur. If you're new here, my name's Katie. I'm the founder of Veil Street. I struggled with my hijab for many years, and it got to a point where I thought it was holding me back in life, which is honestly insane because it is now my entire career and all I think, talk, and do in my life. And so I invented the hijab, a hoodie and hijab combination. It is a hijab designed to keep up with you. I not only have firsthand experience scaling a business using $0 in ads, but I've been in the world of business since I was 16. I'm incredibly passionate about doing things for yourself. I think everyone should have a bit of a side hustle that may one day turn into a main hustle. I'm a bit of a seasoned entrepreneur, and even with over 8 years under my belt, it is still a never-ending learning experience. There is no one true guidebook to entrepreneurship, so why not achieve greatness together? Social media plays a pivotal role in everyone's life, regardless of the career that you take. If you aren't investing in social media, but social media is like the real estate of our generation, all sorts of businesses, megacorps, clothing brands, beauty, regardless of the sector, regardless of what level they're at, they're all utilizing social media. This is not something that anyone should be missing out on. And if you want your business to succeed, you definitely need to be utilizing the platforms that exist. You'll see hundreds of videos about becoming a content creator. These are two completely different worlds. And if you want to learn how to scale your business and make lots of dollars without needing to spend a cent on ads, this video is for you. The very first thing we're going to be talking about is equipment and editing. I just want to get this out the way because it is the smallest barrier of entry. You'll learn very quickly that you don't need a lot to start generating income or showcasing your business on social media. You literally just need an iPhone or whatever device you're watching this on right now. When I started my business, I had an iPhone, a MacBook, and a Dream. All of our content for years was using my iPhone. And for the most part, I wasn't even recording on the iPhone camera, the crisp iPhone camera. I was recording in-app on TikTok. So you were getting whatever quality was there. But at the end of the day, the message translated. When you're creating content for your business, you don't need to have the highest of high techs because to this day, years in, I still utilize my iPhone. Right now, we're obviously filming a longer form video, so I have a ZV1 in front of me, but I mainly use this camera for my YouTube. I still have yet to actually utilize it in business. So to start, there's really 4 things that I'll mention here. The first thing being an iPhone. You'll find that hundreds of creators to this day who have the funds, who have all the high-tech equipment, they still utilize their iPhone. It is incredibly easy to just grab, point, and shoot. You have it on you no matter what. So it makes it a lot easier to capture footage throughout your day. It's the best way to get natural B-roll, but storage is always going to be a problem. It is always going to be your number one enemy. So when you have that iPhone, one thing I highly recommend, or you should have, is Google Photos. I have relied on this more than I ever thought I would. It's been a game changer. There's periods where I try to get my camera roll back down to 0 photos because I'd like to have the space to produce. I keep my backup settings off on Google Photos and I go in and I individually hand select what I want to be backed up, and then I go ahead and delete what needs to be deleted. You'd be surprised at how much organizing you need to do when it comes to your photos. The next thing you need to have is your editing platform. You need to find the right editing platform for you and stick to it. You need to study it, you need to get good at it, and then you need to stick to it because as a business owner, whether or not you're creating content or you hire someone to create content, it is still really important to have these skills. There is always something to edit. There is always a video to edit. And as I record more and more off the TikTok app and in my iPhone, I realize that you need to be really good at editing. My recommendation, get Final Cut Pro, invest in it, get really good at it. Actually, before you invest in it, study it, watch a lot of videos, get to know it, see if you'll actually like it. I personally use CapCut. I know she's problematic, but she's for me. And as someone who is more of a creative, editing is not my strong suit. Editing is not for me. I don't enjoy it. You're always going to get the bare minimum edits from me. You're not going to get the Creed edit from me. You're not going to get anything extraordinary. You're going to get the clips and that's it. And I enjoy it. I like just like raw footage, not too much going on, no music included. Like I chill vibes. You're just gonna get what you're gonna get. CapCut works wonders for me. I love it both for regular iPhone editing and for long form videos like these. And I truly don't believe that I would actually be posting on YouTube if I didn't have CapCut to edit because it's made it incredibly easy. And yes, I have Final Cut Pro. Yes, I paid for it. No, I did not use it because every time I do use it, I want to bash my head into a wall. So I'm we're trying to focus on the minimal barriers of entry. Running a business is chaotic as is. You want things to be easy. You want there to not be any little small things holding you back, because for me personally, I go crazy when I have to make small decisions. I am constantly making huge decisions throughout my entire day. There's so much going on. If I have to struggle with storage or editing on Final Cut Pro, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do anything. So that's what I use. I would say look into it. CapCut has been a bit problematic because of some of their terms and conditions, but I still use it. It's going to take a lot for me to turn away. If you are going to be doing long form content like I am, you need to have an external drive. I'll link the one that I do have. I have it in my storefront under equipment or business tools, but this external drive has saved me because there was a period where I was recording all of my YouTube clips on my phone and I was already fighting with my iPhone with storage. And when I would try to come and edit, my MacBook would struggle with all the footage that I had. I would sometimes have videos fully edited and then the clips would disappear, or like it wouldn't communicate with the editing apps just because of how intense it was for the MacBook. So your biggest issues are typically going to be storage and figuring out what to do with your footage. One thing that has really helped me to prioritize or do well when it comes to business content is heavily organizing this footage. Like it's like a full-time job. It's like homework. Collection shoots in folders. So I'll have like Modesty Princess collection. I'll have the Royal collection. And then I'll have different folders for like business clips, B-roll that I can use when storytelling or whatever, really. I have a very thorough, very cutthroat delete process. Like I am immediately getting rid of the clips and footage or pictures that I don't like, and then the rest I'm making sure they're actually getting used. Before you start posting on any platform, you need to familiarize yourself with the platform. Yes, you actually need to scroll and spend time on them because they all speak very different languages. Things that will perform well on TikTok would not just flop on Instagram, but will have the most craziest reactions. Like the people will be dragging you on Instagram. And I've noticed that. Instagram is amazing for reels. And it's actually insane because there was a time where I was like, I'm never gonna spend time on Instagram reels, like whatever. They just recycle old TikTok videos over there, which yes, I have seen TikTok videos on reels, but to my surprise, I just started hanging out on Instagram reels like 2 months ago and I have been obsessed. I've just been cackling like actually enjoying my time, which is a bit of a shock. I see Instagram Reels as peak 2019, 2020 TikTok. If you were on TikTok at that time, then you know how good it was. And you also know how easy it was to really attract people to your profile, gain an audience, and really make the most of the platform. So for the longest time, heavily prioritized TikTok. I told you guys this in the past. I put all of my eggs in one basket. All of my sales were coming from that app. So I didn't care about any other app and I solely posted on there. And then I neglected my Instagram for like years. And then I suddenly just started reposting my TikToks onto Reels and our Instagram grew tremendously. We were getting millions of views. Reels are just really, really great for Instagram. But unlike TikTok, Instagram is still very superficial. The attraction matters most. I'm not talking about the person. I'm saying like you need to have a very well curated profile. The art of the layout and the Instagram theme is still very important. You want to have attention grabbing reel covers, either very pretty or attention grabbing. But again, Instagram is still Instagram. So the art of the aesthetic profile and all that stuff really matters. Based off of my personal account, I would never post reels on there. It's always a little bit cringe posting on Instagram. I don't know why. But for my trip to Japan, I decided to just repost everything on there. And even when I got tired of posting and I thought I was really annoying, I just kept pushing through and I'd never seen such engagement. Like to this day, I'm still getting engagement on my trip. But the funny thing is, at first, I almost stopped because I was posting and it wasn't getting any views and we were doing really well on TikTok. But I was like, I've been here before. I've played these games before. So I'm going to keep posting, just keep pushing through. And all of a sudden, they all started to perform really well. You guys know I love TikTok. That is like my second home. TikTok is home of authenticity. It is really important to show up real and raw. People want to see the realness. They want to see the behind the scenes. Instagram is a bit more polished, but TikTok, you'll see me actually go live on there, behind the scenes business things on there. I'm just a lot more comfortable on there. And it's the home of authenticity and virality. But the difficult thing is it is very hard to build community on there because TikTok is built for scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and seeing the next fresh face, seeing the next entertainment. When you're scrolling on TikTok, you don't even remember the last couple of videos that you saw. It takes a lot. Because of that, it is very, very hard to gain community on there. TikTok is where I have the most followers, where I've gotten the most viral videos. But when I come back or when I try to seek my community, it is very hard to find them because it is very rare that I'm going to end up on the FYP again unless I go viral again. again. As a user, I know I rarely spend time on the following or friends tab. I'm usually looking for the next entertaining video. In order to succeed at TikTok, you obviously have to, again, know the platform. Like I always say, know your industry, know the players, and also know the platforms. You have to spend time consuming. You have to see what works. You have to sometimes make trendy videos. You need to make it a habit to gain as many eyes as you can, and then funnel them to your platforms. Funnel them to your website, to signing up for your emails, funnel them to your Instagram, your YouTube, funnel them anywhere. Just don't leave them at TikTok. Whenever you get all those eyes and all that engagement, you need to be able to effectively have a way to keep them, keep their attention, get their information. Even if you haven't even launched your business yet, you haven't even started it yet, you can open a Shopify store, you can have an email sign up list. That way you're starting to actually collect and build your community. One great way to succeed on that platform is that every time you show up, you need to have something that's memorable. Like it can be a specific background, it could be a specific hairdo. I mentioned hairdo because there's this woman named Coco Moco who does incredible takes about being a creator, basically, or social media. And she mentioned once that a lot of the celebrities that we know today, the music artists that have blown up or have seen incredible success, always had a crazy or memorable hairdo. When you think of Billie Eilish, you think of the green streak. The reason why celebrities can sometimes see quick success is simply because they're memorable, simply because they had a signature and something that they were recognized by. So when you have a specific signature, a specific look, something that catches our attention and sort of makes you feel like home, because we're seeing you on our For You page again, it makes it a lot easier for you to feel like you belong there, or like for the viewers to actually keep watching because it feels like it's part of our routine. And this can be anything. This can be a specific outfit of the day mirror. This could be a series. Their pages on TikTok, I've never even seen their faces before, but I recognize their kitchen layout. I recognize their hands because it's always the same setup and they're just really familiar. My business page, you're always going to see a show and tell. You're always going to see me show you the problem, show you the product, show you the solution, etc. It's just, it's how you recognize me. It's how you know it's me. I mean, at this point, I'm sure some people are familiar with my face, but every now and then you want to sprinkle a bit of your signature. You want to be memorized in a certain way because people are scrolling for hours. There needs to be a way for them to remember you. You can have a floating banana in your video. You can have specific something. There's that repeated element in their content. Like, when I tell you guys, it can be anything. It can be anything. Whether it's a series, whether it's just a specific prop or a backup, have something that is repeating because repetition does work and series do very well on that platform. And after all of that, funnel them. Always have your links around. Always have a place for them to land, a place for them to go. That way, if they are scrolling for years and never see your profile again, you have other ways to reach them. I feel like Pinterest is everyone's off time. We love a good Pinterest scroll. Like, I see Pinterest as silent time. Whenever I'm on that app, I'm just scrolling for information. I'm unbothered. It's quiet. There's no drama. There's no controversy. There's no comments. There's literally nothing. Some days I feel like I still don't even know how to work that app. Like, sometimes I can't even find the comments. Are there even comments? In business, Pinterest is so slept on. And the way that I have utilized it for success is using it as a camera roll trash can. Like, literally like a photo dump for all of my content, all of my photos. There was a time where I was having photo shoots, and when I take pictures, I take thousands at a time because I am clicking because it is my job to find the perfect shot and my model's job to just be their natural selves, to just have fun and not really try hard, because try hard is not the vibe of my brand. I want it to be authentic. I want it to feel like you wearing my hoodies, you and your friends wearing my hoodies. So I'm usually clacking away. And because of this, I didn't even realize that I'm doing so much. I'm taking all these photos. I'm then sorting through. I'm then prepping for a release. I'm uploading on the website. I'm deciding. There's so much decision making happening. I didn't even realize that sometimes I'll be sitting on gold, like hundreds of photos that eyes will never see. I've only seen them. And then only like 10 out of that 900 makes it to Instagram. That sucks. That's not really utilizing the photos. By the time I did realize this, I already had surpassed so many collections. And for the feed, it wouldn't really have made sense to upload those photos because we'd already moved on. You'll notice how collections will take over our entire Instagram feed and then we move on. So I was like, this sucks. Like, I want to start cleaning out my camera roll. I want to start being more organized. I want to start using Google Photos. But what do I do with all these photos? Like, what do? I can't just let no one else ever see them. So I utilize Pinterest as dumping grounds. But the reason why this is like pure gold, or they're severely underrated, is because it is so much more than just posting the photos there and thinking that no one is going to see them. At a certain point, we were getting like 200,000 monthly viewers on our Pinterest. I did zero work when posting. All I would do, I wouldn't have to think about captions. I wouldn't edit. I would do nothing. All I would do, I would upload every single photo that I took, like every single photo. And I would simply copy the link to my website and then boom, post. boom, post. Like every single photo, go to our Pinterest. If you click on it, it immediately brings you to our website. So if I post like 1,000 photos or one person clicks on each photo, that is 1,000 chances that they're landing on my website. That is incredible. And what makes it even better is that Pinterest, it is away time, it is turn off your brain time, it is where we go seek inspiration. Because my business is on Pinterest and we're not like selling, we're just there for the visual appeal. We are not just a brand, we now become a part of the inspiration. We're now a part of those photo dumps that you see on TikTok and things everywhere. I have had this one photo from my photo shoot that I didn't even know was that much of a big deal, because like blurry photos, I do love to capture the vibe. That photo has done numbers. That photo has landed places I could have never imagined. And I'm like, what is this photo doing here? And to this day, it is still popping off on our Pinterest, constantly bringing notifications. Like that photo has been added to so many people's Pinterest boards. That photo is still circulating and people could have never seen it if I didn't decide to upload everything to our Pinterest. And outside of them being able to just click the link to my website or making a sale, you become the aesthetic. Once you become the aesthetic, that is like gold. It makes it so much easier. It takes your brand from being a business that's selling to me to being like the aesthetic and the vibe that I want to aspire to. Like I feel like I need this product because I want to be this kind of person. I want to live this kind of lifestyle. That is gold. When I noticed that like our photos would be circulating in all those like mood boards and photo dumps, I was like, yeah, it is just more reach. It is more eyes on your business. So why not share it? Pinterest is amazing. We had reached 200,000 monthly viewers. Pinterest is quiet. She's low key, but she's lethal and she delivers. She truly does. So now all of my stuff I repost on Instagram and I also repost on Pinterest. Lastly, YouTube. This is the platform that we all come running back to. She knows it too. We can disappear. We can spend years on other apps and forget about her and get sucked into short form content and lose our attention spans. But at the end of the day, YouTube is always going to trump all. She's always going to survive. She's always going to win. We're always going to come back to her. It doesn't matter how long either, because I think I was off this platform for years. Like, I'm not even saying post-wise. Like, I wasn't watching YouTube. And when I first got back on here, I didn't understand YouTube anymore. I just remembered how I remembered it. So I too had to relearn this platform and get familiar with it and know what I wanted to do. At the end of the day, we all come back to it because now I feel like my teenage version of myself. I spend hours on here. I love watching vlogs. I love seeing people just live their lives. It's so fun. It's quite the investment though. So I would honestly say build the foundations of your brand first before you can prioritize YouTube. Building your business is a lot. If you try to do YouTube at the same time, that's going to be really tough. She's always going to be worth it if you invest into it. Like there's no lottery ticket here. It's definitely slow growth. It's definitely input versus output. Like, she's something, but she's worth it in the end. But it's a long game. It doesn't have to be. Some people do get overnight success, and it doesn't have to be a long game. If you are really pushing it and knocking it out and posting every week, you can see results much quicker. But it's definitely worth it. I would say a lot of people, before they even start posting long form content, they're just reposting all of their videos into shorts. They perform pretty well. If you want to start making long form content, I think all content are always valuable, but I wouldn't say to knock it all out at the same time. Like, get to know the other platforms. If you genuinely find something that you're passionate about sharing on here, do it. Because if you aren't passionate about it, it's going to be very hard to stick to it. Because again, she's like lengthy, but she's worth it. Now that you understand the platforms, now that you've studied them, you've scrolled, you need to position yourself to secure your target audience. Imagine being able to just post something and the algorithm finds your customer for you. Knowing the target audience in business, I promise you, unlocks every other element of your business. It is so important. And if you don't know who you're selling to, because it's not everyone, then why are you selling? What is the purpose of your business? What are you doing and why? Who you're serving, why you're serving them, why they want to buy from you, where do they hang out, what social platforms are they on? My target audience, they're gonna be on Instagram for sure. They're gonna be on TikTok. They probably shop at TikTok Shop. They buy from brands that I know. They're gonna be at boba shops. So me knowing that means like, oh, I should probably have a coffee shop or boba shop collab one day. Love fall fashion. They love New York. They're busy girls. These are all the things that it is very important for me to know, because then when it comes to curating my message and creating the content that you're going to be making, your message delivers a lot easier. Kind of feels like a if you know, you know. When you're communicating with them, when you're making content, they know it's for them. They know it's for them because, again, if you try to sell to everyone, you will sell to no one. What are you building? Why are you building it? Who are you serving? How does it serve them? What exactly is the problem that it's solving for them? And as for them, what is their age range? Where are they already shopping? Where are they already getting the solution? What are their struggles? Where do they eat? Where do they like to, not like to sleep, but like, you get what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying. Take a moment and create customer profiles. Literally design an avatar. Mine are split into two generations, really. Like, I call one profile Gen Z, it girl, busy student or creator. The other being like the rich auntie or busy mom who likes to wear hijabs on the go. This is essential and it will help you out more than you think. So take a moment and decide and identify your target audience. You know your target audience, you know who you're serving, you know why you're doing what you're doing, you have the basic equipment, you have all these things, you also know the platforms and their profiles and how to tackle them. Now we need to discuss the confidence to start posting, because yeah, I feel like I've been on social media my entire life. I mean, thankfully, I was born in 2000, so I had like the first period of my life where I was just playing outside. Even had Nickelodeon Day of Play. Sooner or later, I started getting on every platform. I'm talking Tumblr, I'm talking Vine. I was posting on Vine, guys. Like, I was posting on Vine. Pinterest, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, like all this. I've grown up on social media, and even though I've been posting and showing my face for years, it can get very easy, but it never stays easy. For myself and hundreds of creators out there, we still every now and then sort of get the ick or a little scared to hit post. One quote that my friend Bahija shared with me that I absolutely love and always remind myself or mention to people is one by Miley Cyrus, where she said, "Legends get scared too, but the difference is they do it anyway." You aren't going to attain the success or the goals or dreams that you have for yourself if you're not doing it. You are going to feel scared. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to feel like second nature. You're going to doubt yourself. You're going to cringe, but you need to do it anyways. And the reason why I really want that to stick is because there's a bit of a epidemic right now. Like, I remember seeing a video discussing how the newer generation is very scared to be seen trying, and it's hurting them much more than it's helping them. I know how it feels to want to be immediately good at something and be pissed off when you're not, but to be scared to be seen trying is definitely hurting you more than you think, because a lot of people that you idolize or you look up to them and you're like, oh, they're doing so amazing for themselves, whether it's another creator, whether it's a soccer star, whether it's whatever, those people are also still figuring it out. They're also being seen trying. You just don't see it that way. You just see it as like, oh, they've got it all figured out. When if you had a conversation with any single one of them, they will tell you they haven't reached where they want to reach yet. They will tell you they're still figuring it out. They will tell you that they're still scared and they're still trying every single day. The reason why you admire them is because they have the guts to show up. And you'd be shocked at how much you can attain just by showing up and just by being seen trying. So these are a few reminders that will make it a little easier for you to start actually hitting post. Content is a revolving door, and you need to start looking at it as such. You will be unsuccessful if you hyper fixate on one piece of content and you assume that, yeah, this is the one. It doesn't matter how many hours of thinking, creating, and editing that you put into it. There's no guarantee that's going to succeed. And if it flops, you're going to allow it to discourage you. One habit that has really made things easy for me, once I hit post on something, it is out of sight, out of mind. I literally delete it from my brain and I'm moving on to the next thing. This is probably the reason why I'm really bad at responding to comments. If you get stuck on yesterday, you're never going to catch on to the habit of actually posting more content or posting consistently, because you're like, yeah, I put so much time, energy, and effort into this. This is the one. You're going to be heartbroken when it doesn't do well. Because one thing that every creator can agree on, it's always that random piece of footage that you put no effort into that always does well. For some reason, it always does well. It really is just a numbers game. You'll hear people say time and time again, it's all about just funneling a ton of content out. Just get the content out there, get in front of people's faces. It is all just a numbers game. And your consistency in business content will suck if you are stuck on yesterday's upload. Don't hyperfixate on numbers. Don't think that you're shadow banned. Just push out more and more and more and just move on to the next one. This next one resonates with me really well, and I think it's the reason why I decided to invest in a vlog camera. Create as though you already have the 100,000 followers. I think this is a really good mentality to have. A lot of the times when people show up on social media or show up on my For You page, it kind of seems like they're asking permission to be there. And I don't want to watch a video that feels like that. I don't want to like give you a pity like or a pity follow. When you have the 3 seconds of my attention, I want you to get on that stage and own it. I want you to snatch me up. I want you to get my attention, and I want you to feel like you belong there, because it's a tough world out there. The directors, the whoever's in charge, they're not looking for the next best talent. The talent is showing up to their door and slapping them across the face, because that is how it exists. That is how it is today. And if you are posting on social media and you're like, hi, I really want to be a chef, So I thought I would make a series. You already lost me and everyone else. You need to show up as the person you want to be already. You need to show up as though you already have the 100,000 followers. You say, my name's Layla. Today we're making a tomato tartare. Let's lock in. And you start and you eat it up. You don't have to seek permission to start showing up like the person you want to be. Just do it and get on that stage like you belong there. And especially on TikTok, this definitely applies because it is the one app where when you make it on someone's For You page, they know nothing about you. They don't know how many followers you have. They don't know anything about you. So when you land on my For You page, you better act like you belong there or else I'm scrolling. And actually, one really good example of this is Issa Rae. She did exactly this. She started producing her own content and then HBO picked her up, build the door instead of seeking permission. Matter of fact, kick down the door and start creating. And again, the world is moving quickly. People are not seeking talent. They're not digging and finding out the diamond that you are. You have to show up, take space, and each time you hit record, move as though you already have the audience. Invest in your delivery, your tone, and your quality. You want to avoid the content sinkhole at all costs. This happens so easily. It's also why I mentioned Pinterest previously, because it is so easy for content to just be forgotten about, moved on, and just never see the light of day for a plethora of reasons, because recording is the very easy part. It's actually making use of that footage. You record it, you'll vlog your day. You'll do all these things. You're like, yeah, today's the day. I'm going to vlog my day in my life. I'm going to do all this stuff. And then for some reason you move on or you forget about it or you're just not interested in it anymore. My hack for this is, for one, when it hits your camera roll, get to it. Immediately start deleting the bad stuff. Keep the good stuff. Start editing your footage. Start editing your photos. Start working at it right away, because if you don't, you're never going to post it. I don't know why this happens, but it happens to everyone. I think it has to do with the fact that aged ideas are much more likely to face harsh criticism, because when the idea first came to your mind, you were like, yeah, this is gonna be so cool, like yeah, and then you're like, this is corny, I don't like this. This applies to everything, by the way. This applies to like building collections or having ideas. It's like you're excited about it, and then later on you're like, or you try to fine tune. In all areas, it is very important to knock out and execute things quickly. Run to it quicker than you think. Even if you don't forget about it, you're gonna criticize it much harder. And there's something about that like naivety and that like wide-eyed excitement that makes it a lot easier to actually execute instead of just like sitting around and waiting. At some point during all of my Japan vlogs, I got really uninterested. I would still put a lot of clips together and like just edit a full video, and then I'd be like, okay, this isn't bad. And then I'll do a voiceover and I was like, oh, this actually still a pretty good video. You'd be surprised at how much you can do with footage, even if it's just like a half a second of a clip. If you're providing context, it can actually do really well. And I feel like nowadays that's a problem that a lot of people's content is missing. It's context. Some people are just like posting pretty things or posting whatever, and they're not really giving us a story behind it. We want to know more. We want to understand. For some reason, voiceovers just make content really easy, like giving a little here and there, talking through it. And I don't mean chronologically, because I've had to learn this myself. When you're making these voiceovers, when you're sharing that context, you don't want to just be like, so today I woke up and then I went to get a bagel and then I got a coffee, like, and then in the video we see you wake up, get a bagel and get a coffee. No. You want to give us a story. You want to give context. You want to say like, today I decided that I'm going to be an outdoors person. I decided I'm going to run my errands and do this, and I'm working on this. And you're telling us much more. You're exciting us. You're giving us a world to step into. So I know that was a lot, but in order to avoid the content sinkhole, you need to edit things when they're fresh in your mind. You need to stop thinking that it's corny, not seeing it as important anymore. There's a whole world out there that hasn't seen it, and we're excited to see it. Don't let your footage go to waste. And I've made it like a very like strict rule with myself. No content goes to waste. You'll see me editing and uploading like photos from like months ago because I didn't see them, and I'm like, I'm still gonna post it. Like, no content goes to waste. I refuse. And then even when I finished my Japan content, I only kept posting the uploads because my camera roll was like done. I needed to delete the footage, and I was like, okay, well, no footage goes to waste, so I'm going to edit so I can delete. Do it now, do it quick. This is amazing for consistency, and especially for TikTok. I realized that the best videos are the thoughts that come to mind that you record right away. When you have a video idea, you should be rushing to it. You shouldn't be like, I'm gonna wait until I look pretty this day. I'm gonna wait until I wear this outfit. Do it right away. Especially for TikTok, if you're doing like a hot take, sharing an opinion or a thought, just jump on the camera and start to chat. The fresher the idea, the better it translates to your audience. I think this next point is honestly one of the first things that have unlocked my success in posting on social media, and definitely help with my self-confidence, and definitely helps with all aspects and areas in life. I'm talking self-discipline in all areas of life, and that is to think big and then go bigger. If you have a bigger outcome in mind, like if there is a bigger picture that you're going after, nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. When I started promoting my businesses, whether this was my first brand, Kim Cosmetics, or Veil Street today, I was never catering to my followers. I was never catering to my community. I wasn't even catering to my city, Philly. And I think this is also why I always tell people, like, oh, make a new account when you're starting a business. Like, don't keep it on your personal account because it shrinks you a bit. If you're stuck on Lila from up the block promoting or supporting your content, you aren't thinking big. You aren't thinking, like, if you're stuck on your followers and friends from high school engaging in your business, you aren't thinking big enough for me. And because I was always thinking big, it makes it easier to make things a bigger deal than they already are. Not get stuck on the little things, to not shrink yourself, and to constantly work towards the much bigger picture. But I didn't really check to see who was engaging and who wasn't engaging, who was reposting, not reposting. I didn't really care about that because, again, there was a bigger picture that we're working towards. It really makes a difference in how you show up. It changes your aura because you are serving a much greater purpose. When you have a greater vision for everything, this helps you when things go good and when they go bad. Even if every single person you know supports you and things are going good, that is not enough to satisfy you because there's a bigger picture here. There is a greater audience that you need to reach. And because of that, you're going to keep striving and you're going to keep working. You're going to keep improving because there's a much bigger picture. And then when things go bad, that's fine. It's not the end of the world because these are all pieces of a puzzle. These are all parts of your journey, all part of a much greater picture. We are all working towards something far greater than this. Let me even compare it to, because I obviously got to apply Islam to everything. Dunya. This world is temporary. We all know this. It will test you. When things in life go good or when they go bad, and I'm talking bad, like when they get the worst of the worst, one of the only things that can get you through is knowing that there is a much greater purpose. Like there is something after this. There is something else that we're working towards. So even if my life is absolutely horrible, at least there's something that I'm working towards. May Allah grant us all the highest rank in Jannah. And I really hope this example lands. I'm telling you, there is something about having a much greater picture that makes it a lot easier. You do not settle for the little bit of good, and you also are not obsessed with that little bit of good. There is something greater that you're working towards. And for some reason, for me, social media wise, I always knew, like, no, like I want Veil Street to be a household name. I want us to reach the world. Because of that bigger picture, because of that, what I held on to, that is exactly what we did. There's a bigger picture that you're working towards. So you cannot think small. You have to think big. You have to show up like you already have the 100K. You have to care about the quality of your product, your content, the way you show up, the way you deliver, all of this. You have to think big and then go bigger. That is enough for this topic. That strictly has to do with building confidence to start posting. I hope you find those points helpful. But now we're going to dig into the real nitty gritty and we're going to talk about the strategy, because how are you going to present your business? How are you going to show up? How are you going to promote your product? It is different for everyone, and simply copying is never going to work. You have to find what works for you. You want to have 3 categories of content and you want to just rotate between all of these. The categories are entertainment, educational, and shareable / relatable content. First one being the trendy video. This is your entertainment, hearing a TikTok trend all over TikTok and then making a video using that sound, but obviously in a way that makes sense for your business. I consume a lot of content. I know what the trends are, and I find ways to rework my own brand into this. Like it simply is just changing the caption, changing the wording. The way I like to think of this is like, you see how people on TikTok will stitch a video. They're just sharing their take on it. They're just sharing their opinion. That is all you're doing. You're taking something that's already trendy and adding your take to it. This is like the easiest bit. It doesn't have to be a trendy video. I'm just saying that because it's like the easiest way to find entertaining sounds. This can just be whatever you see or whatever sound that you like. And next is going to be educational. For my business, educational for me means showing and telling. So this means showing how the products works. This means telling things about my business. This means answering questions. It can mean a lot of things for different businesses. People that make videos about how they make money or how a product is made, start to finish. You know, education. This can be a lot of things. Find ways to make it make sense for your business. A subcategory of this is interacting with your own community. People forget about the free game that you get from comments. I'm talking good or bad. I love making videos, responding to comments, because it's like your audience is already there. Let them know that you can chat with them, and it is a great way to educate and inform. And with my kind of business, you are going to get a lot of questions. There's people who aren't Muslim but want to wear a hijab and want to ask questions about that. There's people who don't understand what hijab is, why we wear it, and want to learn more about that. There's always a chance to educate and inform, and it's free game and it's free content for you. And let's say there's hundreds of people that also had that question. You're answering it for them, and you're just creating more visibility for your business. And lastly is going to be your shareable / relatable content. Sometimes it's going to fall into entertainment because funny videos get shared. Think of anything that triggers emotion. Your jokes, specific collections that trigger nostalgia, a sad or happy story, a niche yet relatable topic, but don't allow wanting to get a share drive you into making content that isn't authentic to you, because sometimes you can kind of tell when people are just itching for the next viral video, because it's like they're making content that's like a little bit like or they're creating thumbnails that are semi-problematic just to get your attention, just to get the engagement. Like, especially on TikTok, you'll see a lot of people sharing problematic takes, and it's because they know it'll make them a lot of money. Business wise, you don't want that to be what drives your sales or your engagement. You want to make content that is genuinely authentic to you. Virality isn't everything. Consistency and sticking to your values is going to serve you much more in the long run than chasing virality. So for me, I stick to humor because I'm a natural joker. I'm always making jokes, and a lot of my most shared videos are typically the funny videos, entertainment, or me showcasing the product. That is because of my specific kind of business. It still triggers the emotion and it's still shareable because people are like, this is so cool. Why haven't I thought of this? Or I know a hijabi, she would love this, or I need this. So we're triggering something, and it's a reason for them to want to share and chat about it. You're gonna have to find your strategy for this, your secret sauce for this. You're going to have to find your formula. Our secret formula is always going to be pain point and product. I'm showing you my struggles as a hijabi. I'm showing you the product, why I made it. We've unlocked what gets the most shares, the most reach, and then everything else is just sprinkled in between. But the reason why I have mentioned these 3 categories and why you need to diversify your content is because you don't want the same thing over and over. And at a certain point, you're going to have to serve the audience that you already do have and the ones that you want to attract and attain. Because if all of my followers already follow me because I showed them the product, me making every single video of me just showing them the product is not keeping them there. It's just me worried about the next customer, the next follower. I have already gained them in. I already made that viral video that I like to sprinkle in between, but now I want to educate and inspire them. I want to tell more about my story. I want to entertain them. So it is very important to rotate between these categories. It allows you to have an endless pool of content. You're not stuck into one category, one niche, which you always want to avoid. 2, you need to get in the habit of just trying a little bit of everything, especially when you're just starting out. Don't limit yourself. Try all types of content. Try everything and then see what sticks, see what your audience likes, because at the end of the day, they are who you're serving first. People need to be entertained, and too much of anything is not the best. And people don't always want to be sold to. Like, I really care about entertaining my current audience while simultaneously attracting my new audience. If we were to look at other brands and what they're doing, these are how I would describe their virality formulas. The first one is going to be Broken Planet. They are always going to be showing you the vibe. They're going to be dangling the vibe in your face and making you wish you were there. They are always going to find the best looking models, the best backgrounds, not even backgrounds, but like just like natural areas in the city, and then make them look drippy, swaggy, put them in their clothes head to toe, and then make a lip sync video, and then you'll be jealous. Why am I not there? Why am I not living this kind of life? You know, that is always going to be their 1, 2, 3, like their key, their secret sauce to virality. It's always going to hit. You got the attractive models, you got the outfits. What more do you need besides my money? Because now I want to buy your product. I want to live that life. I want to be there. This also feeds into the Pinterest thing, like I mentioned, because with Pinterest, it makes it a lot easier to become the aesthetic. Once your brand goes from being a business to becoming the aesthetic and what people want to aspire to, it makes it a lot easier to generate sales. Broken Planet does that perfectly. They're not just selling you a product, they're selling you a lifestyle. They are creating a world that you want to be a part of. What is the easiest ticket entry to actually be a part of that world? Buying their clothes. Simple. Another amazing company is Thathijabivlogger. Her formula is going to be words of inspiration. The hype that makes you feel like you can take over the world because she did it too, whatever the odds were. She's always going to give you the context. She's going to give you the story. She's going to give you the hurdle. She's going to tell you like what it took to get here and how there's still a greater vision. There is still work to do, and she's making it happen, and you're inspired and you feel like, yeah. She's showcasing her story. She's boldly seeking partnerships that align with her. If they don't, she drops them, and she's encouraging a modest movement. This is her hit. This is her secret sauce. This is her like just do it moment. This is her formula. This is how she's gonna get a good video. And obviously Cortez, I have to mention Cortez. Like, why would I ever talk about generating sales using 0 ads when they've literally hit $1 million in sales? 0 ads. Cortez pretty much created the scarcity tactic that brands follow today. It's all about that tight-knit community. It has that very if you know vibe. They're a bit of a package deal. Their pieces are well designed. They look amazing. They're quality. They also create these mini movies that feel like a Super Bowl commercial, but it's much better because instead of prioritizing a random celebrity, it is prioritizing creativity at the center of it all. They really bring you into a world that you want to be a part of. But at the same time, it's like, you're only part of this world if you're about it. Like, it's only if you know. Like, you want to own their clothing because you want to feel cool. You want to rock something that says Cortez because you want to be affiliated with Cortez. And why do you want to be affiliated with Cortez? Because they've created a world that everyone wants to be a part of. But you can only be a part of it if you know about it. Authenticity, audaciousness, and exclusive community. That's their formula. The Super Bowl commercial, Seda, motivation, Broken Planet, attractive people lip syncing. Everyone has their formula. You just have to find yours, and it also needs to make sense for the company that you're building. I'm a chocolate company. I don't know if they're really making lip sync videos. I mean, they could if they wanted to, because again, you can do a little bit of everything now, but that's not going to be their core formula. You get what I'm saying? Oh, actually, a random one that I'll mention is Midday Squares. I'm not sure they still do it, but I remember them because of this. They basically are a chocolate company that would create basically reality TV episodes of running their company, and it was so entertaining. The context, the storytelling, the drama. Who in their right mind? Like, Hershey has been around for basically a millennium. Do you think they would ever think to create a reality show for their business, except it's like social media ran? But that is their formula. That is how they're memorable. That is how they stick. That is how they get their sales, and they have done tremendous numbers, but it works for them, and that is their thing. Find your thing, find your strategy, and at some point you will be remembered for it, and it will actually stick. That is so much talking, and I know when I've been talking for a lot because my words mush together, my speech feels delayed, but we're gonna push through because we've made it to the Q&A. What platforms should I focus on if I'm just starting out? I'm going to say TikTok for virality because, again, you are gaining the numbers, you're gaining the views, you're gaining the attention, and then you're funneling them to your website. You're funneling them to everywhere else so that you can actually keep that community. And then you're also reposting that content on Pinterest, YouTube Shorts, and Instagram Reels. It also makes really great practice because TikTok is such a comfortable space to just show up and you don't have to be as polished. It makes it a lot easier to get in front of the camera, and it gives you confidence to actually show up on other platforms as well. How do I create content when I have no followers? If you are building something that you're genuinely passionate about and are excited to talk about and excited to share, the audience will find you. And if you know your target audience, like we talked about in this video, you will know how to create a message that reaches them. Your followers should not fuel whether or not you can create content, because when I started my business account, first of all, we started from zero twice, but everyone starts from zero. Just start showing up like you already have the 100K followers, have the energy, have the aura, and speak to your target audience. And that's all that matters. Do I need to show my face to be successful? Honestly, it really depends on what you're building. You don't have to. I know a lot of, well, I don't know about businesses, but I know a lot of successful creators that have never shown their face and do really well. Some businesses don't show their face. They run the operations, but they have other people basically show up in place of them. I just think that in today's society, people really care about who they're buying from. And for me, it works. And I do like showing who I am and showing up for my customers and supporters. But you don't absolutely have to. It's possible to just be the behind the scenes. Like, I started from very scrappy beginnings. I've never had investors, so I had no choice but to show up. myself. And I think that's really good because I've learned a lot and it helps you gain a lot of skill. And the more you show up, the more you can refine, adjust, and improve. How often should I be posting? If you can do once a day, I think that's really good. You can do more than that, but if you can do once a day at minimum, that is very, very good. What if my product isn't aesthetic or trendy? Aesthetic or trendy products aren't the only things that are selling, and you can make your product the aesthetic. You can make it the thing that we see everywhere on Pinterest, on TikTok photo dumps. Like, you can make it the goal, you can make it the vibe. It is just how you show up, how you present, how you showcase it. I am selling hoodies. A lot of people sell hoodies. Yes, it is amazing that it's like an invention and there's a hijab attached to it, but I could have very easily just made this a basic catalog. Like, I could have made this like an Old Navy type catalog photo shoot, but I decided that I want more. I decided that there was a bigger picture here and that I wanted to create the representation that I'd never seen growing up. I truly am in love with the idea of seeing hijabis do things. I know this sounds so random, but because I never got to, like, the littlest things, like if I see a hijabi riding a bike at the mall, at the cafe, right? Like, those things get me so excited because, like, you don't always see that. And I live in America. I don't live in a Muslim country, so I don't see us just dilly-dallying, doing little things. And so I knew with my brand, I also wanted the world to see that. I wanted the world to know that hijabis are multifaceted beings full of creativity, personality, and a whole lot of swag. So I obviously had to make campaigns that reflected that. And because of that, my brand became the aesthetic and it became trendy. So it's truly about how you show up. It is not about, I can only sell what's very popular right now. No, you create the trend, you create the aesthetic, you deliver the message. How do I sell without sounding salesy? This is a thing that everyone questions. Like, every now and then, I hope that I'm not sounding salesy when I'm recording, but you have to rewire your mentality about selling a product. You also have to avoid selling the product. You really want to sell the benefits, sell the lifestyle. As mentioned, Broken Planet, they're showing you the lifestyle. You want to be a part of that lifestyle. My product, I'm showing you, well, sometimes I am showing you the product because, like, I want you to understand it, but a lot of times I'm selling the lifestyle. I'm selling the swag. I'm selling something that you want to be a part of. Every single video cannot just be you being like, I invented this really cool app, you need to get it. Or I've invented this really cool product, you need to get it. Why should I get it? Why is it important? Why does it matter? Why do I care? Who are you talking to? And again, if you know your target audience, it will be so easy for you to sell to them without actually selling. My videos, yes, I am showcasing the product because it speaks for itself, but there's some videos where I'm not really selling. Like, I'm talking to my target audience. Whenever I talk about stressing about your hijab or stressing about getting ready, I'm directly talking to my target audience without saying, hey, I have invented this hoodie hijab. No, I'm literally talking to their pain points, talking to our triggers, and that is a lot easier to translate because I know my target audience. So if you don't want to sound salesy, know what you're doing, why you're doing it, and who you're talking to, and it will be very easy to create an if you know kind of vibe and speak their language without having to literally say what you're doing. Do I need to go viral to grow? Virality is not always the answer. It is very easy to get caught up on the numbers, but you do not want to be a puppy to virality because sooner or later you have to serve virality over community. And in the long run, your community is what is going to outlast everything. You want to get as many people to see your product, but you should be prioritizing funneling and pushing out content, not doing crazy things to get virality because it's not going to translate well and it's not going to be authentic. You need consistency more than you need virality. How do I turn views into actual sales? You need to have call to actions whenever you're posting your content. For us, I know in the future we're going to start saying at like a certain point of our video, like our product is linked in our bio, because I don't know what's going on around the world, but clearly not everyone is not everyone is Gen Z, or not everyone accesses these platforms the way that we do. And I'm just understanding that, like, not everyone knows what a link in bio is. Not everyone instinctually or instinctively goes to your profile or your bio to find things. One of the number one repeated comments that I would always get is, where can I buy? How do I buy? What's the website? And I'm just like, it's in my bio. And I would always be so confused. But instead of meeting these questions with like confusion or fighting back this confusion, why not make it easier for them? So I decided that in the future we're going to be implementing more calls to action, telling people where to buy things, where to go, like linked in bio, just because their attention is already in the video anyway. So why not have an action for them to follow? Why not tell them what to do? Because again, not everyone knows I'm starting to understand that. So that's number one. Number two is you want to have website readiness. If you want to have sales that convert what? I'm gonna stop right there. If you want to generate sales, you need to have a landing page. You need to have somewhere for people to go. You guys don't understand how many times, like, I'm a shopper. I actually get personally offended whenever I see something that I really like and I try to go find it and they're like, DMs order. Buragu? Excuse me? Why? That's like so offensive. I hate DM to order because then I don't have that flexibility. It's so personal. And then it's like, you expect me to buy now? Like, now we're gonna go through all this back and forth about where I can pay. No. You need to have a site ready. You need to have a place for them to check out. You need to have it out all prepared. It needs to be seamless. The point from finding you, the interest to check out should be easy peasy. It should be easier than eating a meal. The barriers of entry, like, you need to make it easy if you want sales to convert. So have a ready website. If you're not launched yet, collect emails. Be prepared for the attention. So yeah, have the website ready. Have all the things in place that you need to have in place before you even go viral. If you do go viral. Also, Shopify analytics have gotten really good. Shopify is just great overall, but I've come to notice their analytics are very, very good. I'm not good at all that stuff, but there was a point in time that my Shopify account taught me that a lot of my sales actually come from Instagram, which is shocking because I get my most views from TikTok. But for some reason, sales convert very good on Instagram. I'm not sure. People, I guess, are a lot more willing to buy when they're on Instagram. But Shopify analytics, know your analytics, study them. How can I stay consistent without burning out? So I kept talking about this earlier, but you're going to have to get used to having a lot of B-roll footage, have a lot of clips, just a lot of great clips. And to store these clips, have Google Photos because it can be a lot. You can always re-edit and rework something into a new video, into a trend. You can use old footage a lot. To this day, I'm still using old clips and footage like all the time. You also should try to get into bulk filming. So a lot of times I will film a lot of my hood job try-ons, multiple hood jobs all on the same day. That way you can post whenever and not have to film every single day. And again, just having a lot of clips will help you in the long run because there's been time where I posted tons of clips, tons of footage that I didn't even leave in my bed because I had great iPhone footage. What analytics should I really care about? Again, the ones that make you sales, the one that makes you money. Look at your Shopify store. Whatever your host website is, which you should have a website, do not make us DM you to order you. That's a threat. You should look at those analytics. Okay. What would you do differently if you were starting social media for your brand today? Well, I've already mentioned this, but I would have diversified my platforms. I wouldn't have overly relied on TikTok. But to be honest, all the mistakes have been a learning journey though, so that's a little, yeah. Raw first answer was diversify platforms earlier because I always say how I overly relied on TikTok at first. When my account got banned, I was lost. I didn't know what to do. And 100% of my sales were coming from TikTok. Now that I think more about it, I think, and this is so controversial because you have people saying that founders are showing too much or doing too much when they shouldn't be because you want to have a certain level of prestigiousness with your brand. But I also know that founders who are more vulnerable, I respect more. But is it because I'm also a founder? Like, how does this translate to my customers? This is all such a, these are the thoughts that I've been having lately. But I wish that I showed up a lot more vulnerable. There was always such a facade that I had to keep up, or like everything always has to be going really well, so that when things went absolutely horrible, like when we lost so much, I completely disappeared for like over a year. I didn't really know how to show up or approach my audience because I was down bad, and I wish I talked about it. I wish I showed more. The people thought I just didn't care or didn't want to sell, when in reality, I'm like, yeah, well, I mean, I just got robbed. And I feel like I'm a trash business owner, or like I don't deserve the title because, like, how could I let such a mistake happen? If I just showed up and explained it to my audience, then maybe today I wouldn't feel like the need to never talk about it, and they would understand more of my lore. Like, we would be on this journey more together, and it wouldn't be like I just vanished and came back. So in some ways, I do wish I was a tad bit more like not just vulnerable, but like I wish I shared more of my narrative or shared more of that storytelling. Some people are really good at like showing all aspects, the bad and the good. So yeah, I wish I was good at that, or I did that differently. And I am humor first. So my business is very, I wouldn't say superficial, but it's like you're not really seeing below the surface. You're seeing the product, you're seeing the aesthetic, you're seeing the entertainment, but everything else is relatively private. And especially with the process, or even just my thoughts, or even just me, that's not really how I show up in my business. So in another life, that is how I would have executed things. I don't think that that's my goal, or like what I'm striving towards, because I like things as is, and you guys get to see more on YouTube, but I don't think that that is going to be something I try to force into my business, because again, we've already discovered our formula. We know what we like to do, how we like to approach. The other bonus question, because I skipped this question, is about hate comments and controversy. I think brands that are a little controversy see success. Sorry, it is because all press is good press, but also you're like in the times, like you're chatted about, people are like arguing. Like when I took a hiatus from my business and I wasn't posting for over a year, when I opened up my accounts, because I was afraid to open them and I would like cry whenever I would open them, when I finally did, I saw like hundreds and hundreds of comments on all TikTok, Instagram. I'm like, I haven't been here. What is going on? It is because people were in my comments still arguing about like whatever. I don't even remember. But I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, these other people keeping me relevant. Like, I don't even know if my business can survive. That's the stage I was at. And I was like, and I haven't even been here. I've been gone. And we're still circulating. Like, we're still deep down, I clearly know why my business is important and why it matters. I know the amount of women who don't wear hijab and want to start wearing it and see my product as like a transition for them, or people who feel seen or feel like it's easier to observe modesty. Like, I know that our product serves a greater purpose, but there's people who say all the time, like, we're trying to modernize hijab, we're doing this, we're replacing hijab. We're not replacing hijab. We're not replacing hijab. I still wear hijab, clearly. But all those comments, again, it's free game. Whether it's hate or just like, nitpick, it's free game. It can become more content and it's keeping you relevant. I personally try not to get bothered by hate comments. There was also a time, this is a random example, but there was a time where I would always get on my camera and yell at my audience to justify our prices. Well, I wasn't yelling, but I would always get on there and justify our prices because we pay a lot to make this product. Now that I've learned more, like I'll talk about this in my manufacturing video, but we were overpaying, like severely overpaying. I would always address the comments, like, because like some of y'all were drawing. Some of y'all were like, you'll be questioned on the day of judgment for these prices. Slow your roll and get it together, Layla. Stop playing with me. But I would always address these comments. And then I was at a pop-up one time and a woman approached me and she was like, I was like, hi, she's like, I know who you are. You're the girl who always checks people about her product or her prices. And I was like, that is not how I want to be known. That is not how I want to be represented. So it was a great learning experience, and I stopped doing that because why justify my prices to people that are already like, heck no, when I can be worried about my audience and my customers, etc. Yeah, this is a lengthy one, but I've given you guys all that I've known. I'm giving you guys the secret sauces, the strategies, the tips for confidence, all you can think of. So I genuinely hope that this helps you on your content journey as a founder. Messy consistency will take you farther than perfected effort. I say all the time, I fell into entrepreneurship. I never knew what I was doing. I just would fall and get up and fall and get back up. That naivety has gotten me to where I am today. I didn't wait to become a prodigy. I didn't study for years, because you can take someone who studies something for a decade and then someone who started a year ago and is just working towards it, and they're always going to be better than the person who's been studying for 10 years because they're actually doing it. They're actually working towards it. You need to make it exist and then refine and tune it out later on. That is all that matters. Fall into it, be messy, try everything, see what sticks, and it will take you far. So I genuinely hope you guys found this video helpful, and I'm so excited. Well, what am I excited for? I don't even know. I'm excited to wrap up this video. I think I'm getting I'm getting delayed. I've been talking for way too long. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. My call to action for today is to make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you like, make sure you comment. Let's get a conversation started. If I didn't answer your question, if you have other questions, you can comment that down below. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I can't wait to see you all in the next one. Ciao.